I've eaten worse. I've eaten in a couple of your places, right?
If you're found to be incompetent in the kitchen, Gordon's roasts are totally capable of sending your ego right down the toilet.
You're You are so you don't realise what you're doing.
We already showed you some of our favorite Gordon Ramsay insults, but one video couldn't cover all of them. Here are more of Gordon's best insults.
Hungry?
Tongue-in-cheek apology letter to Jamie Oliver.
It's a disgrace.
I'd like to say something from the bottom of my heart.
We all know how Gordon Ramsay and Jamie Oliver can't put up with one another. For many years, the two have constantly been going at each other's throat.
Where did you seriously learn to cook?
Jamie Oliver, really? That's the truth.
On one of his appearances on the Late Night Show, Gordon announced that he had invited Jamie for an on-air let-up, but that Jamie couldn't make it to the studio.
As you couldn't be here in person, I'm writing to apologise.
At first you would think might by any chance be a sincere apology from Gordon to Jamie, no matter how unlikely that would be.
I've called you fat. I've criticised your restaurants. Called you fat.
But we guess it's pretty obvious that he wasn't doing it for the apology. It was just another Gordon Ramsay way for slipping in a few more insults.
Said you enjoyed prison sex. And called you fat.
The freaking microwave has more qualifications than you.
It's a disgrace.
Who cooked that, Dustin?
That's Chef Mike.
Chef who?
It's a microwave.
Gordon's visit to El Greco was not by any means a pleasant experience for whoever watched it, let alone poor Gordon himself. The bland stuffed zucchini and the pasty lamb shank looked like pieces of edible depression. Then the moussaka came.
If you saw this food in a dog food bowl, you would not think twice.
He asked to meet the head chef, and throughout the time that he spoke to him and the staff, Gordon couldn't contain his despise for that unqualified and indifferent half-wit who actually believed that he was making high-end food that Gordon just couldn't appreciate. That's when the insult pushed its way out.
Executive chef. Chef Mike. The frickin' microwave has more qualifications than you.
When he was met with yet more oblivion on the chef's part, he followed it with another sucker punch.
I've come across a lot of executive chefs in my time. I've never seen one quite like a sack of that's standing in front of me now.
You look like you're just about to lose your virginity.
It's a disgrace.
Darling, you've got to turn away now. I don't want to see you facing that any longer.
Gordon probably hates nothing in the world more than when a chef's stress gets in the way of creating a beautiful display of culinary art. Whenever he served a dish that was made by such a chef, he can identify it right away without even seeing them in person. Hannah and Mesos was Gordon's host for the Valentine's Day Kitchen Nightmare.
I guess I couldn't afford the end.
That's if you call bland soup, molten quiche, and raw lamb lollipops romantic. When he asked to meet the chef, he found a guy who in a way was himself bland, molten, and raw inside. The guy had no taste and was too shaky for someone who's supposed to be the captain around the kitchen.
When was the last time you made a decision?
I made a special
What was it?
turkey panini.
As Gordon tried to bring some life into him, he looked at the wobbly chef and said,
You look like you're just about to lose your virginity.
Are you a virgin?
"Thank fuck you're small."
It's a disgrace.
Do we need that hot plate?
Well, it's usually the way of keeping the food hot.
How this restaurant was being managed, especially in terms of finances, really ticked off Gordon when he visited.
Ryan Ray and Elaine Howden are over £250,000 in debt, but they're still spending.
The owner wouldn't compromise one bit on his unbounded extravagance and stayed insistent on spending all of his unearned money on eBay buying secondhand equipment at rip-off prices and cramming up his small kitchen. As Gordon toured the place, he was growing more and more irritated with that absurdly huge collection of eBay items that the owner had bought. He met the chef in the kitchen, and these humorous yet pretty insulting words came out to cut the tension.
Thank you're small, you know that. You look for chefs on eBay, look at their size, their measurements, their weight, then employ them, yes?
I felt like I got a leak in my bath. It was your bald head.
Disgrace.
This hotel was built around 1880s.
I take it was decorated in 1880 as
It
well.
kind of looks that way.
For the first time and the last time.
Gordon was probably in a good mood during this visit because all of his insults to the hotel's crew of 3 were waggish and came with the typical priceless facial expressions whenever he's trying to stop himself from bursting out with laughter at someone's incompetence. When the manager took Gordon to his gloomy little room at first, he was welcomed by a cockroach committee.
To welcome me on the toilet,
No way.
having a number 2.
He then met the owner and asked him how he would rate the food, and the owner's reply had him saying,
I'm now myself about dinner.
but the waiter was the one who really looked uneasy about the restaurant's apparent disaster.
I believe that it's a golden trout from Northern California. Comes in frozen.
His head started bursting with sweat. Gordon couldn't keep it in any longer. So with a smile full of crushing scorn, he looked at the guy's head and said,
I feel like I got a leak in my f***ing bum. It's not your bald head.
90% good, 10% an apple?
It's a f***ing disgrace.
I have a cook that has worked with me since the day I opened, and he has an attitude.
This Italian restaurant was having a special kind of problem that Gordon probably hadn't faced in any other restaurant on Kitchen Nightmares. The restaurant's main problem was that its head chef was a stroppy 22-year-old kid, or as the owner put it,
90% of the time he does what he's supposed to do,
Okay.
but 10% of the time he's an asshole.
As he went with the owner to meet the staff in the kitchen, he called out for the young chef and introduced himself. When he asked the guy what he did, and he knew that this was the head chef causing all the trouble, Gordon threw it right at him.
So you're the young 22-year-old that 90% is good and 10% is an asshole?
Yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like no one in the place could stand the guy. Gordon even got to know that he once tried to punch the waitress for telling him that no one in the restaurant cared about him. Honestly, this is one of the few cases where you can say that someone deserved Gordon's wrath.
True.
No one likes you.
Show me that you're a man.
In disgrace.
You cannot carry driftwood in your business.
Gordon was trying to help this poor restaurant owner to stand on his feet once again and start running his restaurant properly. To do that, the owner had to fire one of his 3 managers in order to make room for a new head chef that Gordon was recommending. Gordon already had in mind one of the managers that he thought had to go.
Martin has an amazing way of manipulating you, and he's not worth his weight in terms of what he brings to the table.
You can bet that the man was all fired up hearing this. So after having heard enough, the manager walked in and burst out with rage against Gordon for dissing him in front of his employer like that.
For the first time since I met you, show me that you're a man.
I'll make a man out of you.
That was just before hitting him with a furious and unrestrained ego-shattering rant about his total incompetence.
You ran it, you sat in it.
Yes.
You wasted it.
Yes, I wasted it. Yes.
You encouraged it.
Unfortunately, you're talking out of your rear.
In disgrace.
Here I am now in this pinnacle moment, and I start hearing the complaints. It was almost too bad to be true.
If the work is being done and the best is being put into it under Gordon's own supervision, you'd be down on your luck if you found in yourself the courage to walk up to him and criticize the outcome.
That was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Are you kidding, or? No, I'm not. Oh, you're serious?
That's just what this grumpy old lady did when Gordon was all busy with the staff at this restaurant as they served their new menu on their first night. The feedback from all the customers had been very positive, and Gordon has been in the business long enough to know when someone actually has a critique of the food or if they're just shoving their bad temper at it.
Okay, good. But madam, unfortunately, you're talking out your rear.
The woman was clearly in a state of shock and humiliation, and Gordon beat her down once again as he welcomed new customers while she stood nearby,
So sorry about the old bag.
an embarrassment to Kefalonia.
It's a f***ing disgrace.
Dad, how you doing? Don't bother me. Go dance. Go dance.
As a Greek person opening a Greek restaurant, you must be pretty proud about your country and most particularly proud of its food.
Unfortunately for the diners, the restaurant is also different from what they expected.
When Gordon paid this family restaurant a visit, none of the customers were satisfied with what they were served. Plates were being returned to the kitchen almost untouched, and instead of focusing on enhancing their food, they were too busy holding belly dancing shows for the disgruntled customers.
Finally, something edible.
When Gordon couldn't ignore the situation any longer, he gathered up the family in the kitchen and ran a display of the hideous food that was coming back.
Dry as hell, huh?
He's not even a chef and he knows it's dry.
Frustrated by how oblivious he was to the size of the disaster, that's exactly where Gordon hit him when he said,
It's an embarrassment to Catalonia.
The owner went to sit in the back room in tears after hearing this. Gordon really knows how to break someone, doesn't he?
I just don't like it when my dad is so sad.
Judgment Day.
In disgrace.
I'm going to confront him with his worst nightmare, to wake him up to his responsibilities as an innkeeper.
There's another level of Gordon's rageometer where he starts orchestrating the insults instead of doing them himself. That's what Gordon thought the owner of the Four Seasons Inn deserved for the hellhole that he was running. The place's decorations were worn out, most parts of the hotel were nasty, and the pool was too filthy for Gordon to step foot near it, let alone in it.
Layla, did you shit in the pool?
In instead of cornering the owner and letting his F-bombs drop, Gordon gathered up some of the hotel's latest guests in one room who had a terrible experience there.
I've never had the complaints that I had today. It's humiliating, it's embarrassing, it's like being flogged in the center of town.
And what added even more insult was the expert Gordon brought along.
The general manager of one of the Hilton brand hotels. And if there's one thing this lady knows, it's how to run a hotel.
Gordon really didn't give that man's ego the slightest chance for recovery.
You okay? You got a funny color.
I'm hot and absorbing everything.
Yeah.
Shit chef and a dishonest one.
A f***ing disgrace.
As Sebastian's mother would say, manja.
It's one thing to serve Gordon bad and tasteless food. It's a whole other thing to lie to him and not stand up for your own mess. Take Sebastian, for example. When Gordon asked him about the calamari starter,
They're fresh?
Yes, it is. My calamari is fresh.
Gordon doesn't let these things go that easily, so he asked the waitress.
Are they fresh or are they frozen?
They are frozen.
He would have realized it for himself anyway as soon as he got the plate, which didn't look all that fresh.
That confirms two things. Chef and a dishonest one.
The insults didn't stop there,
Can I get you anything?
A sick bag.
and when he got his main dish,
It looks like a can of dog food.
You've got a dog who doesn't necessarily, eat their food all at once and they just kind of graze. Canned food may not be the best option for them.
Sebastian received enough insults that he had to call his parents, asking them how to deal with the relentless Gordon Ramsay.
Throw them out.
Throw them out.
Apologies for the owner's performance.
It's a f***ing disgrace.
I'm not too sure what's more scary, the food or the singing.
There were many things that seemed wrong with this hotel, beginning from the tablecloths to the puke-like appetizer and the pale and rubbery lamb lollipops. There was one thing that everyone working at the hotel agreed on.
Callie is the owner.
She's the major problem.
Major problem. She is too controlling, and my hands are being tied.
There was something that they forgot to mention about Callie, though, that Gordon had to witness firsthand. That was Callie's horrific Cher impersonation. Gordon understood that insulting someone who's so offbeat was a waste of time and probably even impossible.
I'm so sorry about the noise. And it's not in the kitchen. Yes, a little bit much.
He then ended the insult with a premature applause that was obviously meant to get her off stage as soon as possible.
I love to sing. That's probably why I bought this place.
It came out of a baby's diaper.
F***ing disgrace.
I'm hoping that he likes one of the dishes that he ordered. Two of the dishes, maybe all of the dishes.
If you're going to serve Gordon Ramsay food, at least let him know that you understand that it's not exactly top quality. The owner of the Old Stone Mill had to learn this the hard way. The man was a bit defensive about the celebrity chef sitting down in his restaurant, criticizing the food and the service.
You know, this is my house. He was in my house and he was embarrassing me.
Gordon started throwing around some jibes, and at one moment he was really calling for help with the chopped salad.
Please don't make me eat any more of that.
The lobster stuffed tilapia was what really sent shivers down Gordon's spine, though.
Looks like someone's had a in the bag and stuck it in the oven.
When he sat down with the owner, he got to let him taste that food, and when they came to the tilapia, Gordon confirmed its appearance on his plate.
Looking at it, it looked like it'd come out of a baby's diaper.
I would like to flush these down the toilet.
It's a f***ing disgrace.
More grease in this plate than there is in the Greek Isles.
If you saw the first part of this video, you would know that we're guilty of being fans of Gordon's puns.
Chimichangas. Chimmy chuck it in the bin.
When he visited this Greek restaurant, Gordon unleashed one pun after another, and although the puns might have been unintended, the insults definitely were. When Gordon ordered the lucaniko,
It looks like the remainder of a dog chew.
he got grease in a slightly different sense of the word.
Does that remind you of Greece?
Here comes the ultimate pun, though. As he flipped around the pieces of sausage that floated in the grease-filled plate, Gordon dropped this.
This area of Queens is called Flushing. Right now, I'd like to flush these right down the toilet.
Kudos for Gordon for being able to come up with witty lines like these after eating such food. The waitress even ran away choking after having one bite off his plate. There is more olive oil on this than Popeye's dick.
It's a f***ing disgrace.
Finally, two incredible worlds collide in the sensual album.
As we reach the end of this video of another collection of Gordon Ramsay's insults, we want to share with you a tribute that the great John Legend made exclusively out of Gordon's insults over the years.
I'll get you more pumpkin. I'll ram it right up your f***ing ass.
Would you like it whole, or would you like it diced?
That was a selection of Gordon's absolute best lines sung and played by John Legend in collaboration with Gordon himself.
You put so much oil in this, the U.S. wanted to invade the f***ing plate.
Now, be honest, wouldn't you want to buy this album? Here was our absolute favorite out of this track, though.
There's more olive oil on this. There's more olive oil on this than Popeye's dick.
As long as Gordon Ramsay is still on TV, we should expect more of these epic insults to come.
You okay, Irene?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Don't miss out on your chance to win an iPhone X. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Then click the description below to increase your odds of winning. Good luck!